And yes, here we are live, everyone. The final cuts Oscar prediction consequence show. Yes, I brought this back a few years ago, and we did it again this year. I made my predictions, and yeah, as always, there's a few surprises. We rarely bet 100%, though the last couple of years we've been doing better uh, than we used to. You can look at those episodes way back when we were first trying to do this. I don't know how many years ago now. But yeah, so we're back to doing this, and tonight we are going to go through quick what the winners are, and what I got correct, and then the ones that I didn't get correct. We will find out what my consequence film is. Now, for those of you who do not know this gimmick, basically, I have taken over the years suggestions from folks on what they consider really bad, like painful movies to watch. And in the last couple of years, I also changed it up so that also add rom-coms, preferably bad rom-coms, and even worse, Hallmark films, because Hallmark films and rom-coms are two of the three categories that I probably watch the least. Also is dramas, which kind of plays into tonight's episode, if you will. And yes, we are recording this live. Yeah, let's get to this, to the live final cut Oscar consequence show. Let me take a sip of my coffee here. Tasty. And let's just get roll. Oh, before we do that, we got a little housekeeping. The Spoiler Room podcast, which I am the producer and host of, co-host with my wonderful crew members, has actually been nominated for the Rondo Awards. If you're familiar with them at all, they are a rather large and predominant, long-running genre themed awards program, if you will. The Rondo Awards. There's a lot of great podcasts that are up for nominations, and we happen to get nominated as well. So we're on the ballot. We've got a lot of stiff competition, and small but mighty, our podcast might make it out there, but we can only do that with your help. So vote. The link is in the description of this episode. You can find that link there, and then if you click on that link to the Rondo Awards, they give you the instructions of how you can vote. We are under the best podcast / multimedia category, but there's some wonderful categories there for you to vote on as well to help out a lot of great genre content creators and such. So very exciting, very honored and humbled that we are there. So on to our final cut Oscar consequence show. So the first category we predicted last week was best actor would be Adrian Brody, and sure enough, hey, we got that one right. Yes, folks, we did pick right Adrian Brody. He made his acceptance speech, the extended acceptance speech, where he told them to just shut the music off. And it was an interesting one. I can't say that it was a very predominant speech, but nonetheless, he told them to shut the music off and went extended. And so made him Oscar moment there for it. But yes, I predicted Adrian Brody, and he won for The Brutalist. So while I was not fully floored by The Brutalist, I did like his performance in it, and it was well deserved, though this was one of the stacked categories that were there this year for the Oscars. So moving on, we had Best Supporting Actor, Kieran Culkin. Yes, folks, we got that one correct as well. He has been running the board basically on the awards season. This one was a pretty sure pick. I will say I really enjoyed him in A Real Pain. I thought he put in an worthy performance of all the awards he got. He got lost into this type of character, and yeah, it was a really interesting role for an interesting character. And while again dramas aren't my big thing for me, I really did think he was the highlight of A Real Pain. And so well deserved, Kieran Culkin got the award, and we got that one right. So the next one, you know where this is going. Best actress. I was hoping, I was pulling for. She was running the award season. She was grabbing them all. But alas, folks, yes, we got this one wrong. It was Mickey Madison. I underestimated the power of Honora, as we will find with my other picks tonight. I did underestimate the power of Honora with the Academy. While it was a mixed bag for Honora across the award season, it did win some of the bigger contests, and this is the biggest contest for folks in cinema. And so, mad props. It's not like she didn't deserve it. She is an excellent performance in a character that definitely is going to be memorable for many people. Again, Nora was another one of those, though, that I wish I could see just the specialness that a lot of people saw. It's an indie darling, though, and we've been getting a number of these in the Oscars over the years, where the indie darling seems to really pull the big awards to the surprise of some folks. So, what does that mean, though? Well, we've got one wrong, so now we have to spin our a wheel of random and find out what the consequence film is going to be that I will have to watch because I got Mickey Madison. I got picked Demi Moore, and it was Mickey Madison. So spin, 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 and let's see what movie will we have to watch for our consequence film. oh, um, yep, that's a film. The Hottie and the Naughty. The Hottie and the Naughty film. The Paris Hilton comedy, rom-com, I guess you could call it that. And yeah, that's whew, okay. So that is my first consequence film of the evening. Will be the Hottie and the Naughty. And yeah, well, whew, right off the bat onto a very strong consequence film. So let's move on, shall we? Here we go. Best Supporting Actress, Zoe Saldana. Yay! Yep, we did win this one. We just picked correct on this one. I mean, well deserved. For Amelia Perez, while it was a very divisive film, controversial, caused a lot of waves and such, Zoe Saldana is the highlight of that movie. She puts in probably one of the best performances we've seen. The song that she performs, which also won Best Oscar for Best Song, was well deserved. It was the best. That was the best routine, the best musical number out of that film, as well as her performance was just, it made that moment in the film even better. So well deserved for Zoe. Congratulations to her as well. Very happy that she won, and happy that I got it correct because it avoided one of those other films. So on to our next category, animated film flow. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Animated flow, movie flow. We got this one right. Loved Flow. If you followed my top 10 movies of 2024, this tied with The Wild Robot as actually my favorite film of 2024. Yes, it beat out all those other ones, two animated films. I mean, Inside Out was close to being up there too. I mean, there was a lot of good animated films this year, but Flow so deserved. You know, independent company putting this out, doing something unique, and it's a gorgeous film. The soundtrack is beautiful. So is The Wild Robot. I kind of wish that would have won score more so than The Brutalist, but hats off to The Brutalist for winning. But The Wild Robot was a great score, and Flow has a great score, great animation, so deserved. So great to see the indie film beat out some of the bigger studio animated films. But this again, the Memoirs of a Snail was touching as well, and really artistic. I mean, if you haven't seen the nominees for the best animated feature film, you should check them all out because they're all worth a watch because they're all unique, all wonderful films and very moving. So yay, we got that one right. Okay, writing original screenplay, Jesse Eisenberg, A Real Pain. I guessed that is my guess. And yeah, I mean, it was another one of those that was dominating this category in other awards shows. It looked to be a shoe in, and yet the little indie that could, yep, Sean Baker and Honora won this category as well. I think A Real Pain ekes out a bit more as far as the script goes, the screenplay, but I understand why Honora won, and I understand why a lot of people just adored this film. I get it. I get that. I get the appeal for it. And I just wish it appealed more to me. But yes, Sean Baker won for Honora, beat out A Real Pain, though A Real Pain was dominating other awards shows. So I thought for sure that was a good pick, but I was wrong. And so we go back to our consequence wheel, and we find out what our next consequence film is going to be. So spin it and let's see where it goes. Oh no! Oh no! 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 Another Chris. Oh. Christmas Cruise. Christmas Cruise was suggested by my coworker who watches bad rom-coms, and she loves her Hallmark films. Julie did suggest this, but when she suggested it, when I said I need a bad or rough to watch Hallmark films and such, she had a list, and actually one of her picks was one of the ones that we did for our last consequence. So she picked again. Christmas Cruise will be the other consequence film that I get so far. Looking forward to that one, and making sure I probably have alcohol on hand for that. So, all right. And back to our picks here. And yeah, we had the adapted screenplay, adapted screenplay. We picked Conclave. I really dug Conclave, and apparently the Academy did as well, because they did give the screenplay a nomination. And thank you for picking this, folks. I really didn't know what to expect from Conclave. I saw it come up. I saw the cast. I'm like, oh hey, and I also saw the runtime, which I was like, that's not a bad runtime. So I decided, sure, we'll go see Conclave. And it surprised me what type of film it was, the performances that came out of it. This was the one that I thought it was closest to giving Honora a run for its money. I really thought it was, in some of the other categories, I thought Conclave really was going to give it a run for its money. I believe it won at the BAFTAs this year, which again was kind of a surprise for folks. And yeah, Conclave is worthy watch. I especially enjoyed how everything resolved in that film. It just overall, it's a intriguing film with an interesting setting. And yeah, we picked right on that one. So dodged another consequence film. We're getting down there, folks. Cinematography, Lal Crawley and The Brutalist. It won this. Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of people thought Dune 2 Part 2 was going to eke this one out, but there was a lot of people I saw talking about The Brutalist. I will say visually, it was very interesting when I watched the film. I thought, yeah, some of the way they framed the buildings and captured those aesthetics of those structures, and just the way it was shot in general, either especially some of the gorgeous wide shots they had, and some of the ways they shot those scenes in the feeling claustrophobic when you're in the apartment with everyone. And yeah, I mean, it was really well shot film, and I Totally think it deserved it. Again, it was a bit of a stacked category, but I was very happy to see the Brutalist win because, yeah, well deserved for that one. Well deserved for that one. Okay, the next one. Best Director, Sean Baker, Honora. Yep, we guessed right on that. While, again, I had to move some personal feelings aside for this film, I was like, okay, all right, yeah. I figured Honora was going to eke it out. The way people were talking about it, while it hadn't won at all the awards shows, the indie gem, as I mentioned before, of why it surprised me in the other two categories that we had that I got wrong, that Honora beat it. It was just one of those things to where I saw it on the horizon, and I should have seen it with the other categories, you know. But I really wanted Demi to win. I so wanted it. So yeah, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. So moving on to the next category. Film editing, Nick Emerson, Conclave. Conclave, the editing for that film was amazing. Conclave did win at was it BAFTA or Golden Globe Awards? I forgot which one. I apologize. I made a note of it, but it won at one of the other awards for editing. That film, the editing is tight. It tells a tight story. I mean, it really keeps things moving and interesting. And what could have just been, they really pieced that story together well. A lot of that storytelling not only is in the direction, but in the editing. And Conclave is what I picked, but I got it wrong. Honora again, the bane of my consequence picks. Honora. I mean, Sean Baker doing it all. Mad props to him. The indie spirit of Honora is strong with him wearing the many hats. So you knew you were getting his true vision. And I was hoping Conclave would eke it out because I think the editing for Conclave was better than Honora personally. But here we are. I got that one wrong. It was the third one I got wrong. And so we once again, folks, go to our wheel of consequence. All right. So we got the Christmas. Yeah, remove that. Okay. Let's spin it again, folks, and see what we have to watch. Round and around and around she goes. Where she stops, nobody knows. It's going on Killers from 2010. Now, Killers from 2010 was recommended by our good friend Don Shanahan of the Cinephile Hissy Fit. Check out his podcast that he does with Will Johnson and guests. A great podcast, a good friend, and a peer who I really respect. So if he said Killers from 2010 is a bad film, well, yep, it's on the list. So we've added that to our consequence list. So last year we got 3 wrong. So far, 2 wrong. Last year we got 2 wrong. So far we've gotten 3 wrong this year. And yeah, I mean, we've made 13 picks, and we got so far, 2 wrong out of those 13. So that's not too bad. That's not too bad, right? And finally, the big category. Oh, no, we got 2 more, actually. Production design, Wicked. Yes, this was a pretty much a for sure. Well, again, there were a number of great genre movies last year that had some wonderful production design. Beetlejuice, I think should have got more of the technical awards. Such wonderful practical effects in Beetlejuice. But for production design, out of all of them, I looked at Wicked. I go, yeah, Wicked had, I mean, from those wonderful sets, which were far more practical sets than I expected. I thought they would have used a lot more stagecraft and CGI and such, but no, they used a lot of practical effects in Wicked, and they designed some very interesting practical sets, especially that library scene alone. I think, and I wouldn't doubt that the library scene, as well as the Oz the big Oz head and throne room, I would not doubt is what pushed this to the top of a lot of the Academy's list for the production design. So, hooray, we got Wicked correct, and we avoid another Consequence film. And finally, oh, not finally, I've still got a couple more. I made more predictions than I thought. Visual effects. Visual effects, Dune Part 2. Absolutely. There were more visual effects in that. Could have gone to the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, but a lot of people, I don't think, either went to that film or cared for it as much as the other Apes films. So that could have attributed to it. But the visual effects to Dune, I mean, that film relies completely on the visual effects for it. It's a sci-fi epic. I mean, so many effects in every single scene. It is understandable it won visual effects. I was happy. That was an easy pick, really, for that one. And so very happy sci-fi, woohoo, representing in the visual effects and being the film that it is, Dune Part 2, well deserved. And here we are. Best Picture, Anora. Yes, Anora. I picked it even though not my best picture, but many folks' best picture. And again, the indie gem. This was like Parasite from a number of years ago. That film that kind of came out of nowhere, that just found the right spot in the Academy, that it got won so many awards there as well. And yeah, Anora here is that film. And I might revisit it again. I've tried twice with it. And mad props for the indie spirit and the indie film. I'm all for the indie film being represented here, and Anora taking all the big categories pretty much was, good feather in the cap of those doing indie films, showing that those big budget films maybe not necessarily need quite so big budget. I mean, Amelia Perez really nearly got shut out here. A complete unknown did get shut out. It got a lot of nominations, which is still an honor. Let's face it, getting nominated, being even considered for the Oscar is something to be said about. That's no slight on them at all. Being nominated means something, but yeah, at the end of the day, it was Anora winning the big award and winning big at the Oscars. So mad props to them. Mad props to everyone who's fans of Anora. Congratulations to you all. We have 3 Consequence films we're going to have to watch, and I will do my darndest to not review them at the last minute as I have the last couple of years. I always say that, and something comes up and then it falls to the wayside, and I think I've got it done, and I don't. So, but I hope you enjoyed this show and this stream, this live stream here, and seeing what we got right and what we got wrong. Please like, subscribe, bells and whistles here if you haven't already. We have a goal, a very lofty goal of reaching 4,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I think we can still hit it, though we do have to crank it up a notch, and we can only crank that up a notch with your help. So please like and subscribe and all that, and have your friends, and tell your friends, and have their friends tell their friends and such, and tell them all about us here. We got a lot of great content here. This is my 19th year onto YouTube doing content. So for whatever that's worth. And to recap, my Consequence films will be The Hottie and the Naughty, Christmas Cruise, and Killers from 2010. I am going to set myself a goal of reviewing those within the next 3 months to get through those and watch those. Look for some other great content we've got coming up. In a couple of weeks, we got a great interview. I've got some reviews coming. I'm going to the Midwest Weird Fest / a night of horror film festivals again this weekend. And I'm looking to hopefully get some interviews, and I will definitely be doing the reviews of the films showing at the Midwest Weird Fest and a night of horror fests that are going on this weekend. I will be there doing the coverage again. I discovered this fest last year, this double fest that goes on. I loved it and am going back. So yeah, a lot of great content here. Thank you so much, every single one of you. And until next time, please remember, keep that ticket stub, and we'll see who ends up on the list of the Oscar list next year. And who knows? Maybe I'll bat 100 next year. You never know. No, no. Thank you, and good night, everyone.